Let's get into stablecoins, state stablecoins, and who could be the first player around this, and what could they be using. We're going to break all this down for you today. I think you guys are going to like this one. It will reveal a lot of stuff around Ethereum, Cardano, a lot of projects you might be interested in. My name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into Tech Path. Let's jump into it first. If you guys are not following our channel, make sure and subscribe right now. You're going to get alpha on a lot of topics. We do a lot of deep dives here too. So let us know if you like these deep dives. This was a video we did Cardano 1 year later. This was about, what was it? About a month ago or so. And it was our chain analysis, what was happening on Cardano. Now we got a little bit of hate from that, maybe a little bit of love. But the point is they hit us on Twitter. And this was, they came at us. He suggests the only person with a blockchain background in Laramie, Wyoming stablecoin was blah, 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 with the circle. Likely to be ARC token with no Cardano involvement. That was what we were suggesting. And then they copied Charles on there. Charles, of course, hey, listen, I'm on my way down there right now. I'm going to drive up there. And, you know, Flavia doesn't even speak for, that's the circle person. So you get it. There's a little bit of drama there. So, you know, let's take it a little bit further. We said, let's see what's happening over there in Wyoming. So let's dive a little deeper. Let's go to this first clip. Listen in.
My name is Steve Lupian. I am the director of the University of Wyoming Center for Blockchain and Digital Innovation. I just want to give first a few updates about blockchain efforts on campus since my last report. Some of our keynote speakers are Hester Peers from the SEC. Caitlin Long will be speaking, who happens to be one of University of Wyoming's distinguished alums this year. And our capstone speaker will be Charles Hoskinson from IOG, who graces us every year. Interestingly, we're talking with the council that validates Irish beef, so that may be an interesting project.
All right, so a little funny there at the end, but anyway, you get it. Yeah, okay, Charles was there and he was doing some speaking, but apparently, was he in the actual commission meeting? That's what I want to get into. And then also, is Cardano, do they have a specific tie-in to the University of Wyoming, obviously leading this charge on the potential here of a stablecoin? Let's go into who's paying Wyoming. Listen in.
I want to publicly thank some corporate sponsors that continue to support the university in these endeavors. IOG has continued to be a very strong leader in helping us with the Blockchain Center and a number of our initiatives, which include scholarships, teaching assistance, as well as paying some overrides for faculty. Crypto.com has joined us this year, as well as Ava Labs. So they're now joining both Ripple and Kraken and supporting some of our projects. So I just wanted to publicly thank them, Mr. Chairman.
So the point being is there's a lot of companies that are involved with the University of Wyoming and their blockchain center and trying to move these initiatives forward. So kudos to all those companies for being able to support it, because that's what it's going to take at the university level, and especially at a lot of these innovation levels. I want to go over to the next clip, because this is when Circle and Flavia gets involved. Listen in.
Per the legislation that was passed, the governor, auditor, and treasurer nominated 4 subject matter experts to join them on the commission. Flavia Naves, who's a former general counsel of Circle. The commission then created 3 subcommittees. The hiring of an executive director, after interviewing a number of candidates, selected potential executive director, Mr. Apollo, who's here in the audience.
I worked to put together a compliant debt security with an NBA athlete named Spencer Dinwiddie. That actually got released in July of 2020 on the Ethereum blockchain. Interest payments were made in stable tokens. Maturity hit in this last July, so we hit the term of the bond. So that is my kind of high-level background.
So back to proving our point at the time that we did that last video was that Flavia is an important person in the decision process. And of course, Mr. Apollo, who is also going to be an important figure going forward, especially possibly on the selection of what blockchain and what project gets chosen here for a stablecoin. So there's a lot here that starts to break this in. Now, Apollo at the time had not been hired. Now the official word is out. Wyoming Stable Token Commission names Anthony Apollo as the executive director. And one of the things they kind of focused on here was Ethereum and Polygon blockchains. He previously co-founded 2 blockchain-based businesses in New York State after spending half his career in traditional finance. So he's well versed and understands the industry, which is important in being able to go forward. So he runs a little company, and the company is running over here called Renza. And they're tied in with a partnership on Soma Finance, which is this whole compliant platform for crowdfunding compliancy around games and things of that nature. If you look at what Soma is doing, is a new way to trade assets and invest in digital assets, but they've got institutions, a lot of different stuff. And again, this gets into the scenario around really, I think, Ethereum as a potential use case. And remember who this is, their connection into Circle being a part of this, and the University of Wyoming kind of leading the charge here. So a lot of the pieces of the puzzle are starting to come together. Now, Wyoming is an important state. The reason is Caitlin Long's there. So we already have Custodia Bank and their initiative. We also have other aspects around what Wyoming is doing as a state themselves, which is much more in the idea of free money. And that's an important step because they could be leading the way around stablecoins. I want to jump over to this next clip, which gets into Mr. Apollo on Polygon and what he thinks. Listen in.
For us, it's more just about trying to get developers spun up in this Web3 world. And what does that mean? It means getting them set up with a digital wallet. It means getting them to understand that they can get paid extremely fast using this technology. Because even when developers have heard that, unless they see it and can touch it, and touch is again a kind of speculative word based that we're talking about digital money and assets. But once they see it live and in use, it's always a wow moment for them. And I was going to say something else, but I don't know if I was allowed to use profanity on this podcast. So send me this weird like hexadecimal thing, 0x A12G. Just send me a copy of that. That's a public address, right? That's what anyone can use to send you stuff. Give me that real quick. And by the time they put that in the chat and I could send them like 1 token on the Polygon blockchain, they haven't even finished asking a question of what is this?
Yeah, what he's talking about is the oh shit moment. That's when a lot of companies, including whether it's retail businesses, gamers, et cetera, people that are developing creators out there that are going to realize, hey, speed matters, speed matters. Matter of fact, it matters so much. If you'll remember, we did a full video on Visa selecting a test platform to find out if crypto could hold its own in transactions per second. Remember, Visa is one of the fastest transactions out there. They've been working on it for 25 years. They should be the fastest out there, but here's the list they started testing. And of course, Solana was the winner, came in right there with approximate time. But you see Avalanche in there, Flow, Algorand, Stellar, Tron, Arbitrum, ETH, and then even Polygon down here at around 20. So the point is speed kills. Speed rules the land, and I do not see Cardano on this list. So I'm just saying, I just don't see him on the list. So let's take a look at Cardano's current TPS right there. You can kind of see their max TPS running right there. This is coming right there from the Cardano Explorer. Transactions over the last hour, 24 hours, and you can kind of see the actual TPS and max TPS speed right there. So I'm just going to put it at this point. To get to a stablecoin usage, speed matters. Speed will be the defining factor. I want to go on this last note right here. This, of course, is Charles talking about TPS.
So I don't think there's a TPS problem. And anybody who claims that, they just don't understand what they're talking about. And your TPS is just a means to an end. And usually there's so much more to the story about that. But then people use it as a marketing metric, and as a consequence, it becomes a measuring contest, but it's meaningless. Realistically speaking, for most network conditions with cryptocurrencies, if you're sitting in the 50 to 100 TPS for those average types of things, you're probably doing okay for daily volume.
Okay. I mean, you know, I look at merchant services, businesses that are going to be utilizing this, platforms that are going to be utilizing this. They're going to need payment infrastructure that is going to be equal or better than existing systems out there. And we know what that looks like on the merchant system. So I'm just saying, those are the kind of things that are laying up in Wyoming. The question is, now we got somebody in there that actually is running the stablecoin directive under the state of Wyoming that is experienced. They understand what's going on in the market. They get it. This is not some newbie. This is someone that really understands. So look for things happening in Wyoming very soon. All right. Listen, if you guys are not part of our Diamond Circle, get in. It's free. and you can jump into additional content. We do TA over there, additional shows, all sorts of good stuff. All you have to do is click the link down below. If you want to catch me out there on X, it's @Paul Barron. Catch you next time right here on TechPath.